Hey, Iostex here. I am a professional FPS coach and former professional coach for Overwatch League organizations like the New York Excelsior and the Boston Uprising, with now more than 5 years of professional coaching experience under my belt, running the biggest private coaching business over at iostex.com and helping out players for free over on my Discord's Ask Stux Anything channel.
Hello? Hello? Test? Oh, wait, I think I need to change my sound settings. Just a moment. There we go. Say something. Okay, wait, just one more thing. And now everything should be working. Okay, perfect. My keyboard ran out of juice earlier, so I had to unplug my microphone so I could charge it. And then all of the default sound devices just decided to go all over the place. Anyways, How are we doing?
I'm doing pretty good right now. I think you saw my question in Ask Stux Anything with that, but things have been going pretty good. Yesterday was a pretty bad game day, but it is what it is.
Okay. So, I quickly need to orient myself. So I unfortunately don't have access to the form that you filled out, because for some reason Metafire won't let me see the form that someone filled out when their session lies in the past, which is a little bit dumb, but hey, I'm it's their
that's
funeral.
Interesting.
Anyways, so that means we kind of need to start from scratch here, which isn't too bad. So before we get into this, just a few basic disclaimers. I highly recommend you take notes. Just digital, handwritten, whatever you prefer, just so you kind of have a summary in your own words. You will also get a written summary on Metafire, just in case you've forgotten something. But I do, generally speaking, recommend people take their own notes, so it's a little bit more tailored towards them. And then the next disclaimers. Are you aware of what the coaching pass is?
Not quite.
Okay, perfect. Then I'll give you a quick rundown. So obviously, just talking to me for an hour isn't going to make you a pro player, right?
Yeah.
There's a little bit more to that. And, it's also not really viable to, buy a fucking 60-minute coaching session every single time you want to ask a question. So that's where the coaching pass comes in. So for 30 days after each session, you can benefit from the coaching pass, which basically means that you can send me as many questions as you like via DMs. There's no limit. Doesn't matter what day, what time, how many questions, what they're about. You can just ask right away. And you can also send in team fights for me to review. So those team fights are limited to one per replay code. But if you play 10 games in a day, you can just send me all of those 10 replay codes, give me a timestamp for each of them. I'll take a look at that fight, give you a quick written review. Okay?
Oh, wow. All right. That's dope. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. So have you ever gotten coached before?
I have twice.
Okay.
One of them was because people do the advertising on the Reddit, the subreddit for free coaching and stuff. So they do VOD reviews on stream. Okay. And then that's one of them. And the other one was a purchase session where I got a game I played reviewed while I was playing it, because I figured that might help a little bit. So it was more of a hands-on coaching session. So I would load up a competitive game or 3 competitive games, and however long that would take, and just play through them.
Okay.
And stuff like that. And that's it. That's about it.
Okay. So then the question, I guess, would be, why are you here? What made you say, I need to hire this guy?
Right. So my whole thing, the reason I'm kind of getting coaching is because one second.
No problem.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Welcome back. Don't worry about it.
All right. So my whole thing is, I strongly enjoy Overwatch. I love this game, right? It's really fun. It's a amazingly complex game. And I absolutely love the complexity and the mechanical and technical aspect of it. And it's really a blast for me. But I decided, because I was doing really good in quick play, I'm going to try competitive. And I got absolutely just stomped. Right?
Okay.
And I got placed in mid-silver. And I felt really bad. And I'm like, so I kept trying to climb out of silver, trying to get to like top 500 to play with the high ranks. And it just kept going horribly wrong. So I figured I'd look into coaching, because while it's fun, like playing on a low level, like it's still fun to play, but I really want to be able to execute higher level mechanics. Like, I want to play a game and lose the game and know that even though I lost, I did what I could. Nothing's worse than losing and knowing partially that you could have done something to change that. And so that's kind of it. I really like this game. I love the mechanical aspects of it, and I want to get more in depth into that and play at a higher level.
Okay, so those other coaching experiences you've had, those were while you were in silver or before you did your placements?
That was while I was in silver.
Okay, and you're still in silver?
No, I am... it did help a little bit. I am now in mid-gold.
Okay, nice.
Where I've hit another wall, so...
Okay. So you climbed a little bit and now you need that extra push. Okay, so what role do you play?
I play DPS mainly, and I kind of dabble in tank, but DPS is the one for me.
Okay, obviously, in order to climb, focusing on one role is optimal, right? But I'm assuming you know that. So how much time do we have to work with here?
I'm really fortunate, and I have a very large portion of the day to work on this, so I can spend like up to 8 hours a day on this. Okay. If nothing else demands my attention.
I'm okay. You do. It's good knowing that you have all of that time available, but you don't need that much time, right? The reality is, so I recommend, like, on the higher end in terms of playtime, I recommend people invest between 3 to 4 hours a day. Any more than that doesn't make sense until you start pushing for high top 500 ranks, or until you start scrimming, because teams can be very, very time intensive. Right now, for you, 3 to 4 hours already puts you way ahead of the curve compared to all of the other gold players. So it's just important to not burn yourself out too much.
Yeah.
Okay. So
another thing is, I'm not exactly a big keyboard and mouse person. Like, I played on consoles my whole life until I recently got a PC. So aim's not the best. That's one thing that I've been working on a lot. I invested a lot of time into aim trainers before I figured I might want to just try playing the game a little more instead of playing aim trainers, but I don't know. It's a little confused there, but it's fine.
Okay, so I guess in your own words, what's your suspicion? Why are you stuck in gold?
If I had to guess, I'm a Reaper one trick. I've been trying to break out of that for a while. Whenever I play anything other than Reaper, it just goes horribly wrong. And it's usually chalks up to my aim, and my tracking is not exactly the best, so I kind of have some issues with that. But also my game sense, where my aim would be less important and it would be more important to understand what to do in a situation, is pretty bad. So I remember I saw a few videos that said sometimes your aim isn't as important if you know what to do. And where to position yourself and how to play the game a little better. You don't need to aim as well. So I've been looking into that, and I think it's my game sense, because I end up dying a lot for stupid reasons. Okay,
so then what's the goal for today? Trying to improve your Reaper, or looking at starting to learn characters besides him?
For today, I'm thinking, because the VOD I have is largely Reaper until the end, where I play Echo for a moment. I recently found a little bit of enjoyment in that character.
Okay.
But, so mainly improving Reaper and just flanks in general and flanking in general, and just knowing when to hop in, when to leave, target priority in certain situations, and also like improving reaction time as well with Wraith and stuff, which is something I struggle with a little bit.
So
I get slept by Ana too much.
Regarding hero pool, are you aware of the differentiation between hitscan and projectile DPS characters?
Yes.
Why does that exist? What do you know about that?
I know hitscan is mainly, it scans if there's a target in that line that you're firing in, and it'll register an instant hit if there's somebody standing there, versus projectile, which has a travel time.
Exactly.
And
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
More prediction based stuff like that.
So one thing that's very important is that, do you know that the majority of DPS players specialize in one of those aiming styles?
I actually did not know that.
Okay, so let me quickly start my screen share, because we'll go ahead and start looking at some gameplay soon anyways. There we go. Is the screen share working?
It's loading. There we go.
Okay.
It looks
Okay, yeah, the screen share quality is going to be a little potato. I'm apologizing in advance. I'm not at like home. I'm visiting someone, so the internet in Germany is a little new and modern. But yeah, so if we just quickly look at roll queue and oh crap, that's too far. We go to the damage leaderboards, right? So if we look at this. Okay, let's look at number 1, Echo Farah May. Number 2, Tracer Hanzo Ash. Number 3, Ash Tracer McCree, right? Look at this guy, Tracer Soldier McCree. Ash Tracer McCree. Widow Tracer McCree. Tracer Ash Widow. Do you see how a lot of these people, and then there's this fucking Symmetra one trick apparently. So, do you see how the majority of players are specializing into one particular aiming style?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you think of why that could be? Of course, there are exceptions, right? But you need to keep in mind that most of these exceptions are more meta-related, So sometimes a hitscan player temporarily plays a projectile character just because they're really, really strong. So that kind of muddles the data a little bit. But if we looked at like lower ranks, it would get like even more, one-dimensional. So why do they do that?
If I had to guess, it's because you get more used to a specific style of aiming, since, projectile is more based on prediction. You get better at predicting movement and stuff. And because of that, you're better at hitting your targets and consistently getting headshots with projectile characters. Like May, her right click is really weird to fire with.
Yeah. Right, so that's why when you look at high-level player profiles, this is what they usually look like. A lot of hitscan, because the aiming styles are complete opposites of each other. With hitscan, we want to place our crosshair on the target as accurately as possible. As a projectile, we don't want to put it on the target. We want to put it ahead of them, right? We want to lead them. So it's very important that if you want to be competitive mechanically, you need to specialize in one of those roles, right? When you reach a high level, once you're in top 500, then, you can start branching out a little, maybe introduce, for example, Hanzo is a very popular high elo addition to hitscan player hero pools, right? Or for example, Tracer is a very popular addition to projectile hero pools, right? But when you're starting out and when you're learning the game, you really want to focus on only one of them at a time, okay? So, do you have any questions about that?
Not particularly. I mean, along the lines of, because I see a lot of, I watch a lot of Overwatch League, and I see, like, for example, Kevster is big switching between Genji and Tracer. I know Tracer is a hit scan, Genji is projectile, so I kind of felt the urge to, maybe I should be able to play a large amount of heroes extremely well, and so that's kind of driving behind that.
Think of this analogy, right? So if you think about your favorite rock band, all right, their guitarist most likely plays an e-guitar, right? Like an electronic guitar. But if you give them an acoustic guitar, they'll probably be able to play it just fine, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people, like a lot of famous musicians who can play one type of guitar can also play the other type of guitar. You know, they're different instruments, of course, but you know, the skills are a little bit interchangeable. And in the same vein, projectile and hit scan, it's not like you're playing a completely different game, right? They're just a bit different. But when you look at people looking to learn an instrument, right? You wouldn't want to practice on acoustic one day and then just randomly switch to electric the next day. Does that make sense?
That's true. Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing here, where when you're still in the learning phases, it's just much, much easier for our brains to develop skills through repetition, right? We don't want to arbitrarily add variance to our practice. You know, we're telling our brain one day, hey, you put the crosshair on the head. That was really good. And then the next day we play Hanzo, our brain does the exact same thing, put the crosshair on the head, but the target isn't being hit. And that's really, really confusing, constantly switching between those playstyles. So while playing both aiming signatures, they're called, at a higher level, it is recommended that while you're still learning the game, you exclusively focus on one, and then later down the line you can kind of branch off. And if you really, really enjoy playing Reaper, then that kind of, you know, points you towards more of a hit scan hero pool.
Yeah. I mainly play Reaper. I always play. So let me send you my replay link. Where did I do that? Here. All right. So this was a bit of an exception this game. I try and play mainly Reaper. I've been really trying to learn Tracer a lot because of Overwatch League, Genji, Widowmaker, and Ashe. And also I've been trying to learn Soldier, and I've been trying to learn a lot of heroes, but mainly I've been sticking to hit scans, but I always want to learn Echo and Hanzo and Mei because Mei is really good at controlling, and it's a mess. But I try and stick to Reaper, Tracer, and Ashe every now and then.
Okay, no, that's a pretty solid hero pool. Of course, Reaper is kind of a niche pick. He only works in specific situations, but he can be added to a hit scan hero pool, right? It's actually I can't remember the last time I've actually coached Reaper gameplay. This is very nostalgic, but it's okay. So, can you see the game?
Yes.
Okay, so to start off with, can you give me a little crash course on Reaper?
Reaper, I immediately think of the Reaper copy pasta, but Reaper is he's an extremely good flanker. So if you get into the backline and the supports aren't expecting you and don't know you're there, you can absolutely destroy the support backline without really too much risk, because he can get out with his Wraith very easily. And because of his massive damage, he's also extremely good for blowing up tanks and breaking shields on the front line. And also baiting out big cooldowns, like Anna's Sleep, Cassidy's Flashbang, or Kree. I've been trying to learn Cassidy,
I don't think weird. I've been doing this for like 6 years. I don't think I'll ever get used to Cassidy. Trust me.
Yeah, it's weird for me, but
really weird.
Yeah, and like in this game, there's a Doomfist as well, so Doomfist punch and just basically stuff like that. And that's about it off of the top of my head. But yeah. And because of his lifesteal, he's also extremely good for 1v1ing other tanks as well.
So you kind of described two playstyles there. The first one being a little bit more, you know, flanky, killing the enemy backline. The other one is more about, you know, being able to deal a lot of damage to tanks. So how do you know how to play? How do you know which strength to capitalize on?
Depending on the heroes that they have. So if they have a Cassidy, I'm not going to want to flank as much, because while he does have Flashbang and I can bait that out, I'm probably going to be left completely defenseless. And so I should generally try and play towards the front of the group instead of behind the back line. So when characters can stun me or remove me from the fight, otherwise, I should probably play with my team more than in the backline.
Okay, so let's apply that. Let's apply that to this situation here. So if we look at the enemy team comp, I just want to see what they actually go out with. There we go. So this is the enemy team comp. Okay. So what kind of playstyle is appropriate here?
Initially, I'd say personally, I want to kill Anna very, very much, but in hindsight, Mercy can just revive her, and then Doomfist can also peel for her.
Well, yeah, let's okay, so don't worry too much about the Doomfist. Doomfist peeling isn't really a problem, because that's not really what he wants to do. Like, if you think of Doomfist, does he really want to protect the supports?
That's true.
Right.
He'll most likely be diving into our backline.
Exactly,
actually.
right? He has his own stuff that he wants to do, right? But you are on the right track here. So what speaks against flanking here?
Zarya's bubble, and also if I have to Wraith Anna's sleep dart, I'm gonna be pretty much defenseless in the back line of the team with a Junkrat.
So you're thinking
also,
very, very...
I can't guarantee Mercy doesn't rest.
So you're thinking very, very... You're kind of looking at all of the abilities they have. What about their positioning? How would you say, given the map and the enemy team comp, how's the enemy team going to position? Maybe I can give you...
I think likely they'd be in the control room on the right off of the point. So they'll likely be clumped up in there.
Yeah. If you look at the enemy team comp, especially on this very, very tight map, they'll probably be pretty clumped up, right?
Yeah.
So is that good if we want to go for a kind of assassin-y playstyle, or is that bad for us?
That's pretty bad.
Right.
I think.
Right, because if we want to be an assassin, we need to isolate our targets. You know, I don't know if you've ever played Assassin's Creed, but, it can get pretty rough if you don't take care of the guards first. So it's kind of the same thing here, where the enemy team is going to be very, very grouped up, and it's going to be very tough for you to actually kill anything on your own, because immediately you'll just get pummeled by a bunch of people at once, and any target you try to go for is going to get pocketed, okay?
Yeah.
So just shotgunning people down in the backline probably isn't going to work, right? But we have a second playstyle. So what speaks for the tank buster playstyle, I guess we can call it?
You have a massive amount of shield break, and also in the comp they're using, Rein Zarya, you can break Zarya bubbles pretty quickly, which is big for messing up timing for engages for the enemy team.
Right, so this is a Rein mirror matchup, right? How are Rein mirror matchups decided?
By whichever Rein has more health.
Exactly. Exactly, right? So if you look at your team comp, you have a diva, you have yourself, you have a soldier. That's a very significant amount of shield break, right?
Yeah.
And with Diva's Matrix, that's like anti-shield break for the enemy team. It's going to be even tougher for them to break shields, right? So that's already pretty good. And if you look at your team, you have the Moira. Does Moira prefer people going on flanks or people being all clumped up together?
Clumped up together.
Exactly. So now with that entire thought process, it should be pretty clear which playstyle is the best for this situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So brawling in the
exactly. We just want to play with our front line, and we just want to break those shields, pump as much damage into tanks as possible. But what about our ultimate?
I think about this a lot when I'm going up against comps. I always look to see who can mess up my ultimate, and that would be Anna and Doomfist. And because Zarya's bubble is pretty annoying, in that it can give them time to react, it would probably be a better idea to try and ult smaller amounts of targets. Like, for example, Junkrat, if I can get Junkrat and Mercy, or if I can catch somebody off guard, like Doomfist used his punch, Anna used her sleep. The bubble isn't as important because it'll pop in just a moment. This is like all of my knowledge of this character. So
yeah. No, so we mentioned earlier that going for like assassinations is very difficult when the enemy team is clumped up, right?
Yeah.
But obviously our ultimate is the exact opposite. Our ultimate is amazing if we can hit multiple people with it, because for one, it makes us a lot harder to kill because we just lifesteal a shit ton. And it also means that the enemies won't be able to heal everyone. You know, you're just going to be dealing a very, very significant amount of damage. Okay.
Yeah.
So given that information, we can kind of see a gameplay loop develop, you know? The gameplay loop of we want to play with our team, make sure that we win the frontline fight, get as much value as possible. By melting their tanks, we get a significant amount of ult charge, and then we can use those ultimates to go on flanks and go for big, sneaky Reaper ultimates. Does all of that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions about playstyles?
No, I do not.
Awesome.
Actually,
then, yeah?
Wait, before we move on.
Yes.
Is there a situation where you can... I know typically you want to do one playstyle, but I do know Reaper is a pretty weird character. Are there any situations where you can try and switch playstyles in the middle of a match? Because I find like when I'm blowing up tanks and fighting a lot, I'll try and take advantage of chaotic situations. I'll try and teleport behind the group and do stuff like that to varying degrees of success. I was just wondering if there's any viability in something like that.
So there's two situations where you would swap from the playstyle we've described. So the first one is, of course, if the enemy team comp just changes. For example, if they switch to a dive frontline, that would leave their supports very exposed, because the divers just go in and leave the supports behind. So that would speak for a more, all of a sudden we don't have a frontline to focus, but we have a very exposed backline we can kill. So that would cause us to change our playstyle. Or alternatively, we could change our playstyle if our team comp changes. So if our team is more divey, then that is also good for an assassin playstyle, because we can kind of set up behind the enemy team, wait for our team to go in, and then capitalize on their engage and help them kill stuff. Or lastly, a flanky playstyle and assassin playstyle can be very good because it's very self-sufficient. So sometimes playing, correctly, which in this case would mean playing around the front line, might simply not work. Let's just say the enemy Reinhardt is like a really, really big smurf, and even with your support and D.Va support and soldier support, your Reinhardt just gets shit on. In that case, we also need to say, okay, this playstyle is technically correct, but I don't see us winning the game this way. I need to go for the more risky, but, higher, more rewarding playstyle of going for flanks and going for picks. Does that make sense?
I see. Yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions?
No, that's about it.
Then let's take a look at some gameplay. Or I guess not. Why are you AFK here?
I was... It's stupid. I had turned down my party to my voice chat volume earlier last game because somebody was really loud, and I just remembered that my team was now really quiet, so I had to turn it up.
Why?
Horrible timing to do that. Right.
Right. So why is it a horrible timing?
Because I should probably be moving with my team and trying to get into position to actually deal
we've
damage.
Established what our win condition here is, right? We want to make sure that this frontline fight is on our favor, right?
Yes.
But if you leave your team behind, that gives the enemy team kind of a head start. This guy is he already lost his armor. He's going to lose his shield now. And we're still standing back here. So that means this team fight is already looking pretty doomed, okay?
Yeah.
And more importantly, maybe you've noticed this, but on King of the Hill, the first team fight is very, very impactful. Right? If you win the first team fight, Captain Planet actually used to do some statistics. I don't know if I have like the exact numbers. It was either 71 or 81% or something. But he like calculated the win rate of like a Koth game after the first team fight was won. And like 81% of the time or something, the team that won the first team fight ended up winning the entire game.
Wow.
Which is significant. The reason for that is because of the timings. So King of the Hill rounds, compared to the other game modes, are very, very short. Because of that, when you win the first team fight, you of course also have an ult advantage. Make sense?
Yeah.
With that ult advantage, you can also win the second team fight. So let's say you win the first team fight, you have a bunch of ultimates, and then let's say you've captured 40% of the point up until then, you know? So now at 40%, the enemy team has regrouped and they go for another fight. But you have the ult advantage. So you're going to probably win that fight, okay? And then you win that fight, and now you're at 80%, right? And now the enemy team is going to have ultimates, but it's 80%. The round is almost over, which means they have a so-called overtime fight, which means that they have the added pressure of needing to touch the point. You know, someone has to touch the point in order to trigger overtime, and they cannot leave the point because otherwise they C9. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So because of that, losing the first fight on King of the Hill is absolutely crushing. It is a massive, massive, massive throw.
Yeah,
and
I actually didn't think about it like that.
Now, obviously, your teammates aren't particularly bright either. But again, if we want to get out of gold, we can't make the same mistakes that these people make. Right? And keep in mind that this also has a very, very big impact on confidence. You know, how does your team feel after losing the first team fight? How does the enemy team feel after winning the first team fight?
Yeah.
You know, have you ever had those games where you lose the first team fight and your team just instantly says GG, you know, like...
Yep.
Right? You notice that when it happens to you, but you'd be surprised. Like, that also happens to the enemy team. You know, do you ever have those games that just feel like kind of trivial, you know, like you don't even need to try very hard? Those are usually games where you just stomp the first team fight and then the enemy team is just busy, you know, fighting amongst each other rather than fighting you, you know? So mental is very, very important in low elo. And right here, you're basically setting your team up for failure, which is not very, very good. Ooh, that was a nice shift dodge of the Doomfist. Okay. Ooh, what is... Okay, so you teleport behind the enemy team. So this is what you meant earlier with, like, the flanky playstyle. But what's the problem?
When I did this teleport, I had just seen Doomfist fly past my screen, and he is right now diving my backline. So, as well as do I have my shift? I just used my shift, didn't I? Oh, it's coming off.
Right,
it's coming
but
off cooldown.
First of all, we don't care about the Doomfist. He can do whatever he wants. This is not our problem, okay? As a DPS, it's not your job to, like, peel for your supports. They peel for each other, okay? But we want to generate value. Now, the problem here is, do you see this amazing thing that Anna has in her hand?
Yeah.
Now, she's a little stupid because, again, you know, this is not super high elo. But in order to get to high elo, we need to prove that our playstyle can succeed in high elo. Do you think teleporting behind the enemy team while the entire enemy team is grouped up and the Ana has sleep dirt is going to succeed in high elo?
Yeah, no.
Exactly, right? So this kind of play that you go for here, you manage to kill the Ana, right? But you need to be very self-critical and ask yourself, wait a second, would this have worked if they weren't gold? Because what we want is we don't want to learn how to win. We don't want to learn how to win gold games. We want to learn how to win high elo games. Okay.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. I end up dying there, but
and you end up dying even though you have your Wraith form available, which is even more of a mystery. You already got the kill on the Ana. What are you holding on?
I think I reacted a little too slowly. Like the moment I killed Ana, I should have been pressing shift because I'm already getting hit by Reinhardt.
Just get into the habit of shifting immediately after killing someone in the backline. Yeah. Okay, but yeah.
Sometimes I hold on to it in case, because that's why I was looking at Mercy because I didn't want her to res Ana.
Right, but
and
you simply shouldn't have gone for that play in the first place. You see how it's all kind of falling apart. Right. So
and now Anna gets rezzed as well. So that's
But yeah, so your kill was completely useless. The enemy team is killing your team. That was you simply didn't do a lot during that fight. You know, you YOLO teleported behind the enemy team, insta died, and that was that. That's why it's so important to always have a very, very good idea of how you want to approach the match. You don't want to just say, ooh, Reaper is really good at flanking, I'm just going to flank all the time, right? Okay, dodging the Doomfist punch. Rip Doomfist.
Yeah.
See, like right here, for example, these teleports. Again, you cannot teleport like this in higher ranks. You can't just teleport. Like, you're literally presenting yourself on a silver platter.
Yeah.
You're gonna get slapped.
And I just, I'm realizing now that my teleports are kind of iffy.
Well, yeah, you're
because
basically...
I do this stuff all the time in gold, and it works sometimes, and then other times it doesn't. And now I'm realizing I kind of, I've only been going with the times that it works and not paying attention to the times that it doesn't work to let me know that I probably shouldn't do it, I think.
Yeah, I mean...
Does that make sense?
The problem is that your playstyle right now is like Russian roulette, basically. You're constantly going for these insanely high risk, high reward plays. But the problem is that in order to climb, right, we don't go for high risk, high reward plays. You know, if you look at like the richest people in the world, like all of the billionaires, you know, none of them won the lottery, you know. The lottery is is the analogy to your playstyle here, you know. It's very high risk, but also very high reward, you know. But in order to get rich, it's not about winning the lottery. It's about consistently making more money than you lose. You know, most of the really rich people are entrepreneurs. They're people who fucking invest not into a single stock, you know. No, like of course there are like some odd fucking Bitcoin millionaires, you know, but again that's kind of similar to the lottery. Most of the like really rich people, they just invested money into like a wide variety of stocks, you know, because that's like, of course it's like lower reward, but it's consistent, you know, and then their assets kind of grow. And it's the same thing with your playstyle here. Your playstyle right now is like, it works like 20% of the time.
Yeah.
And then based on those 20% of the time, your brain goes, oh, you know, this is really good. You know, I should keep doing this, you know, because it worked. But you're kind of blending out the 80% of the time where it didn't work, you know?
Yeah.
And then you end up blaming things like, oh, I didn't wraith fast enough, or I didn't land enough of my shots, or stuff like that. But you need to understand that this playstyle is just ludicrously risky and inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Look, you tried to kill the Mercy. And the worst part is, think about this. Every single time you go for a play like this, your team has to bail you out.
That's
so
true.
You're not getting anything done, and you're taking up so many resources from your team. We don't want that, okay?
Yeah.
Look what you did to this Reinhardt. Look what you did to the enemy Reinhardt.
Yeah.
Hopla, he's gone.
Yeah.
That was so easy. Why don't we do that, you know, all the time?
Reinhardt
you know?
dies insanely quick.
And look, now that the Reinhardt is dead, it's like the entire game just opens up, you know, now you can kill her. Look, she resurrected the Reinhardt. That's amazing. More ult charge, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, right there you needed to use shift for the tire. Look, you just look at the Rein shield. He's gone! Look at your team! Roadhog, Reaper, Soldier. Like, the Rein doesn't want to play the game anymore. That's your strength. Reaper is, if you want to flank, play Tracer. If you want to fuck up tanks and make them uninstall the game, that's when you play Reaper. You know? Reaper is actually a bit of a pocket pick, especially against, like, Winston. You know? Because Winston has a huge hitbox, he doesn't have a lot of armor, Reaper just completely fucks him up. Try playing Winston into Roadhog Reaper, you know? Add a Discord orb to that, and the game is basically unplayable, you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the term, like, or the saying, you know, oh, they make it look so easy? You know, like when you watch a top 500 player smurf, you're like, oh, they make it so look so easy. But they don't make it look easy. it is easy for them. You know? Like when you fucking rhyme, you know, oh, the sun is so fun, you know? Like if a 4-year-old is gonna hear that and be like, bro, what the fuck? Are you like Socrates or some shit? You know? But like for you, it's trivial. And it's kind of the same thing here. The reason why it looks easy for high-level players is because they just know what the easiest way to fuck over the enemy team is. Excuse my language. Okay?
Now that I think about it, I did spend a lot of my time before looking into coaching watching unranked to GM videos.
Right, you watched like Forsaken like for 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I literally have a video in the pipeline on why unranked to GM is a plague. That is the exact video title. And I guess I'm going to tell you what the video is about.
Okay.
The problem with unranked to GM is that there's a big difference between smurfing and actually playing to improve, you know? So sometimes when you watch an unranked 2 GM, like why do they make unranked 2 GM? Because they want views, they want to do something entertaining that people like watching.
Yeah.
You know? Forsaken just shooting tanks all the time, that's not entertaining. But just 1v1ing off of raw mechanics, that's pretty exciting. So you basically develop a very, very like faulty playstyle. Okay? See, like look right here, you take these 1v1s. Why is the Doomfist even here? He shouldn't be here. Okay. We need to be here. We need to fuck up this guy's shield, break it in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here I make a really weird play.
Well, yeah, because you keep going for those teleports. I swear, you're going to look back on those teleports. You know? Fuck it, I'm gonna make an image actually. Wait, let me
Alright.
let me screenshot this. There we go. Okay, I want you know, one day you're going to scroll up our DMs and you're gonna be like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck was I doing? Okay.
I already this is so dumb.
You do have your ultimate, so that at least is somewhat good, but yeah, we don't want to TP where the entire enemy team is going to hear us.
I was trying to ult the Mercy while she was in Valkyrie and hopefully get the kill on that. And that was my thought process there.
Your mantra right now just has to be, you know, you have 2 shotguns that can deal insane amounts of damage. Like, they're honestly, if you don't, like, I'm not saying gold medals matter, you know, but if a character is going to get a gold medal in damage, it's going to be Reaper. And if you don't, then that should be like a surefire hint that something is wrong about your playstyle. That's kind of the main strength of Reaper. The point behind Reaper is not to like one-shot targets in the backline. There are situations where you can do that, as I outlined earlier. But what he's really good at is just dealing so much damage that mathematically the enemy team cannot heal it. By the time they've healed up 100 damage, you've dealt 300.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there you're playing main tank Reaper, which isn't great. Okay, now we're kind of and look. So what? Another thing is, look at you shooting this Zarya. So in terms of distance, you know, do we want to be close to our target as Reaper or far away?
Close.
So what are the benefits of playing close?
You get massive damage dealt. All of your pellets hit your target, and you also get good lifesteal as well.
Exactly. So this is a classic case of offense is the best defense, okay? But look at you shooting the Zarya here. There we go. Okay. Does this look like a Reaper who wants to get in there and get close?
Yeah. I don't even know why I'm backing up. She's not looking at me.
I don't know either. If you want to, why does Reaper have Wraith form? Why does he have lifesteal?
So that you can survive.
Yes,
a little bit better.
That's literally what he's designed to do. So you can go in there, use your shotguns to fuck up tanks, you know, use your lifesteal to just survive all of the chip damage, and if things get serious, you just Wraith form out.
Yeah.
But you're playing like very, very safe Sniper Reaper, okay? And right there you did miss.
And my aim is just awful.
Yeah,
there.
but the only way we can get better aim in close range is by being in close range. You know, not a big surprise there. Man, these teleports are
I was just
I want to say, you know, it sounds a little mean, but I'm just glad you finally got shit on.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I was just thinking. I'm surprised I don't teleport right there, because that calls that's like a wide open spot for me to teleport to. And
Yeah,
then
this entire game, this entire game so far has just been a huge string of gambles. Just you're playing so reckless, and you're basically just. The problem is, here's the thing, right? Your playstyle is only effective when the enemy team is already bad.
Yeah.
Which means either the enemy team is bad and you would have won anyways, no matter how you play, or the enemy team is good and you'll shit the bed.
And that answered my question, actually, why I've been getting really bad games. It's just because I've been doing this, and I think at the SR I was at, people have started kind of getting smart to what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so it was significantly less effective. I think I got punched by Doomfist twice.
But even here with the Doomfist, I'm so confused, right? What do we want to do here?
I should have wraithed that and I would have been able to kill him there if I did.
Well, yeah, but right here, you already missed your opportunity to wraith. What should we do right here in this moment?
Get as close as possible to him.
Press W.
He's low health, and he
Press
has no
W. Right? Yeah. So, where's the W? Why did you walk back? Your shotguns are much better than his fucking fisty thingies.
Oh, and he's so low, too.
And what do you mean get on point? The enemy team is in overtime. They need to worry about getting on the point.
Oh, are they? Oh, the colors are confusing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the replay viewer. It's really stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, when I look at this gameplay, you need to become comfortable just being in people's faces, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Honestly, go into a custom game against bots and just practice for like 10 minutes a day, shooting them at point blank range. Become comfortable with that range. You have the lifesteal, you have your wraith form. Okay. And stop relying so much on flanks, you know? Like against a Reinhardt, what do we want to do? Right here.
Just nuke him.
Yeah.
Walk up to him and just blow him up.
Right. Because even if he holds up his shield doesn't do anything if we stand here.
Yeah.
You know? It's not like a Zarya bubble. It's a Rhine shield. We can just run past it. We can play inside it, and it doesn't protect him. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we've reached the final stage of the session, which is the do you have any questions stage?
Not particularly. I mean, I do. Let me think for a moment. Sorry.
No problem.
I do towards the end. If you go to the end of the replay, because I don't want to take up too much time here. They do go Pharah and I do go Echo here. I'm just wondering, like, in this situation, should I have stayed on Reaper?
Yeah. Both team comps would be fine for a Reaper.
Okay. Yeah, because we ended up losing this game pretty closely.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a very close game, but unfortunately, just the enemy team had the edge. But I know you said like aim isn't that important with Reaper, but for like the mid ranges and also on characters like Tracer as well, should I? How do you think I should focus on aiming? Should I just keep playing, or
that is something that I cover in like proper detail in the aim coaching. It's a little hard to like properly go in depth here, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. And beyond that, because I already understand what you said about Reaper, so I'm just wondering, in terms of practicing the game.
Yes.
Because before I would stay away from competitive for as long as possible and just spend all my time in quick play until like I was ready to play 3 games of competitive and then log off for the day. And then I realized I don't feel like I'm improving as much. So recently I decided I'm going to spend most of my time in competitive and just spend the rest of it playing deathmatch, and also a custom game that I changed so that I can like aim train against bots and stuff. I'm wondering which one, like, what I should do in terms of practicing. Should I practice in competitive games, or should I...
So you definitely should not play quick play, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I spent a long time practicing quick play, like hours a day trying to play quick play the way I would play
quick play just
competitive.
isn't great practice, you know. The trifecta of improvement is a warm-up routine, VOD review, and grinding competitive.
Okay. And between that, how much time should I spend in competitive? Because I don't want to spend all day, because I feel like I lose games and I lose SR pretty quickly if I spend a long time in there. But
what's the
at the same
with
time, yeah, that's why at the same time I'm trying to improve. So maybe I should just take the losses like that, because my end goal is to reach top 500. I want to be up there and play with the high level players and do high level stuff, and I want it to be more of a strategy game than a run in and try and kill things.
Right. So what does losing SR mean?
That it kind of feels like I'm gonna take longer to get to that point, and so that's why I've kind of.
But why it takes longer to get to what point?
To the point that I'm trying to reach. So
top 500.
Yeah. So losing SR means I'm 30 more SR away from all the way up in top 500. So it's kind of a weird thing. That's why I spent all my time in quick play.
But that would imply that you can reach top 500. Do you think you can, like, the only reason you're not top 500 right now is because you don't have the SR for it?
No.
Right. If I put you on a top 500 SR account, how long would you stay there?
I'd probably drop out for as many games as I have to lose to no longer be in top 500 on that account.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm
is SR what's keeping you out of top 500?
No.
No. What is keeping you from top 500?
Right now, I think game sense. And
your skill level. Your skill level as a player is what's keeping you from top 500. Right? If you lose 30 SR, does that mean you get worse at the game?
No.
Right. If anything, sometimes our losses, where we're willing to limit test, try out stuff, do what we're uncomfortable with, aren't those the games where we learn the most? So we're not 30 SR further away from our goal. We're one game's worth of experience closer to our goal, whether we won it or lost.
True. Okay.
When you are,
that's actually a really good way to look at it.
You've watched those unranked 2GM streams. How long are they usually?
About 10 hours-ish.
Right. And those start from fucking bronze or unranked or whatever. So from your rating, you know, a top 500 player should be able to get GM in a few hours. You know, in a day easily. So the issue here isn't that you lost 30 SR, you know. The issue is that you're just not at that skill level yet, and the only way you can get there is by practicing in competitive. As harsh as it sounds, your SR right now is worth nothing. That 30 SR that you lose after losing a game, that didn't cost you a top 500 spot. That didn't cost you a sponsorship opportunity or your spot in a pro team. It's 30 SR in Loilo. Nobody's going to worry about that.
That's actually true. So I should be a little less afraid of losing.
Yeah, you should look forward to it. Like, you're in a rating where losing doesn't matter yet. You can play like garbage, you're not going to see any of these people ever again. This is the safest environment to improve in. Once you're in high elo, improving gets awkward because people know you. If you try something out, you know, if you experiment and it ends up throwing your teammates' ranked games, you know, some people are going to put you on their avoid list. So it's much harder. But here, nobody gives a shit if you play poorly. It's expected. This rating is for people who play poorly.
Okay. Wow, that's really insightful there, actually.
I'm glad that could help.
Yeah, that's really obvious when you know it.
Well,
okay. But yeah, thank you so much for
that. No problem.
So takeaways, I know I'm running out of time here, so I'm going to be quick. So just stop teleporting behind the enemy team.
Mm-hmm.
Play the style that you know based on the enemy comp that you should play. Stick to one category specialization of character, like hit scans only,
exactly.
and stop being afraid of losing so much.
Exactly. Yes. Again, you're going to get a so now this is the fun capitalist marketing part of the sessions, because I'm 24 and I go to college and I need to pay rent, so I'm sorry for putting this on you. Anyways, so you'll get a summary on Metafy, but from what it sounds like, you basically already have all of the notes. One little question. So I do use or I do like using some of these sessions for content on YouTube, so other people can kind of learn from them and see what's going on. And obviously Reaper is a very rare character, so I wanted to ask if you would be fine with me using it.
Oh yeah, sure, no problem.
That is,
I mean,
awesome.
I'm probably not the only Reaper who does stuff like this.
Well, yeah, it's you know, I've after the 10,000th Ana session, it's just nice to finally coach Reaper, so that's really nice. Okay, so that's good. So again, you'll get the summary. Now there's two more things that I need to say. Again, I'm really sorry for the marketing, but I have to do it. So most people they don't just get one session, they actually get coaching on a more regular basis, right? Some people are waiting until Overwatch 2, some people are starting right now. So just for you, obviously we have a lot to talk about. I think you can benefit from aim coaching. I think you can benefit from more coaching on Reaper. And I think that once you expand your hero pool onto new characters, you can also benefit from getting coaching on those characters. So I do, obviously you have the coaching pass. As I said in the start, I'm here for you. I do still highly recommend follow-up coaching, of course. Now, Metafy does not have written reviews. They're a little special. So what they have is they have these video testimonials where basically people just record like a quick 30-second video, sharing their thoughts on the sessions. Obviously, doing that is like really annoying, and a lot of people aren't comfortable with it. So as a little incentive for that, if you do make a video testimonial, not only would it be super, super duper helpful for me, but you also get a 33% discount code as a reward. So if you're thinking about the idea of getting follow-up coaching, if you do a video testimonial for this session, you'll get that discount code. You can save yourself a bunch of money. But again, even if you don't get any follow-up coaching, I still hope the session could help you. You can benefit from the coaching pass.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And last question, I know you're out of time. How long should I wait in between like coaching sessions? Like if I do a follow-up, how long should I let that sit?
So the recommended time is 1 week. So having 1 week to kind of implement everything, work on it. It does depend on your playtime, but you mentioned earlier you have plenty of time to invest. So 1 week is perfectly fine. Most people just have a 60-minute session each week. Obviously, depending on budget, sometimes people go for a 30-minute session. Either way works.
All right, great. Okay, that's all. Because I think I'm out of time now. But thank you so much. This was extremely helpful, and I would not have noticed that I'm just teleporting like an idiot without this. So
awesome. Okay, well, I'm glad I could be of help. I'm looking forward to your questions via DMs and potentially a video testimonial. You never know. And maybe we'll see each other in the future.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, take care.
Have a good one.
So much.
See ya.
Yeah, you